Right. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Now we would like to begin. So again, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining today's Global Fintech Seminar in Osaka, hosted by Osaka Prefectural Government and Osaka City Government. We would like to deliver you the solutions to global social issues presented toward the world from the speakers of the Osaka-based global fintech companies. So we are having this webinar according to the time schedule below. So we will start and then followed by the greetings from the organizer. Then we would like to move on to the pitches by the Osaka-based fintech companies. We are having two companies presenting today. And unfortunately, one of the companies, Warranty, which was nominated at the beginning when we were calling for the event, it unfortunately cannot attend today's event. So we apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. So if you wished to make the networking or the business matching with Warranty, we would contact you individually to arrange further meetings. So please wait for such announcement. Then we would be followed by the roundtable after the short break. So we are having the panel discussions for about an hour. Then we would finally move on to the networking and the business matching, which is a pre-booked networking and business matching. So this is pre-booked attendees only. So we thank you in advance for the understandings. Right, so then we would like to have some short announcement about this event. So first, we are having the simultaneous translation. So we are providing this webinar by the English and Japanese translation. So of course you can listen to the original sound, which both the English and Japanese by the original sound, but you can click the icon below on your Zoom and then choose whether you would like to listen to the English translated sound or the Japanese one. So please use this translation function if needed. And also for the photography, video, recording or screenshot, please do not share it onto the public social medias, etc. And you can have the recorded video broadcasted later on. So you don't necessarily have to record it on your own, just to inform you. And lastly, we are providing the translated version of the materials. Since we can only post the original material, you can have a look on the translated one on the Google Drive, which is provided here. And our secretariat would tell you the link onto the chat soon after this announcement. So please access it and have a look on the translated document if needed. Right, then, so we would like to begin the first session, right? So we would screen down to the introduction of the greetings of the organizer. Sorry. So the first speaker is the host and the organizer of this event, Mr. Tetsuya Sakamoto from Osaka Prefectural Government. He is the Senior Executive Director of the Global Finance City Osaka project. So Mr. Sakamoto, please begin your greetings. Over to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining Global Fintech Seminar in Osaka. My name is Tetsuya Sakamoto, Senior Executive Director of Global Finance City Osaka. Before starting this event, I would like to explain the Global Financial City Osaka project briefly. This project is being promoted by Osaka Prefecture, Osaka City, and local business communities and private companies, including financial institutions, with the aim of using the power of finance to accelerate industries and projects that will serve as a catalyst for Osaka and to grow Osaka and Kansai economy. We will revitalize finance, the blood of the economy, attract investment from around the world, and create business opportunities leading to further leaps forward for Osaka. Furthermore, we aim to utilize Osaka's strengths, such as its well-developed urban infrastructure and diverse culture that attracts people from around the world, as well as its potential to become a hub for the health and medical industry, and to realize a global financial city with its own unique characteristics and functions. As it will take a very long time to realize this. And the first step is to attract human resources, companies, and funds to Osaka until fiscal year 2025 as a period for laying the foundations and to build an ecosystem that will lead to economic growth in Osaka and the Kansai region. Now, around the world, since the 2000s, a large number of fintech companies have been emerging to provide services utilizing the internet, AI, big data, and other technologies, and new financial businesses are spreading rapidly. Furthermore, there is also a movement to utilize Web3, which is based on blockchain technology in financial businesses. Osaka is the birthplace of futures trading and was once a frontrunner in finance. In addition to finance, Osakans, with their innate innovative nature, have created many new social systems and products to make the world a better place. Osaka is a region to make the world, Osaka is a region where new innovations are born. We hope that not only Osaka, but also domestic and international financial fintech companies and Web3 companies will gather in Osaka and take on new business challenges. And next year, the World Expo will be held in Osaka. The theme is designing future society for our lives, and the concept is people's living level. The expo will be a place where the world's knowledge, such as cutting-edge technologies, will be brought together, used to create new ideas, and shared, or to help resolve global issues facing mankind. We hope that the expo will attract human resources and companies from Japan and abroad to Osaka, and that new business, including finance, will be born. Our project team also plans to hold financial events during the expo. We will inform you once the details have been decided. At today's event, Osaka-based fintech companies will be on stage and will talk about their business models and the charms of Osaka. After the pitch and roundtable discussion, there will also be individual networking sessions. A separate breakout session room will be provided for each fintech company. While priority will be given to companies with advanced reservations, we can arrange meetings at a later date. So please inform us by the post-event questionnaire if you developed an interest today. Lastly, we hope that today's event will be fruitful for all participants. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sakamoto. So we would like to begin the first session, which is the pitches by the Osaka-based fintech companies. So each company will tell you the solutions to the global social issues which these companies are addressing. So we are having two companies, Giftpad first, and then followed by CTIA. So the first speaker would be the Miss Keiko Hara from Giftpad. And please bear in mind that this session would be presented by Japanese. So as announced earlier, you may find the translation function on the Zoom, which we are having the icon on the below of the Zoom screen. And please choose the English language if you would like to listen to the translated voices. So Ms. Keiko Hara, please begin your presentation. Over to you.
Hello,
I'm Hara from Giftpad.
私ども株式会社ギフトパッドは大阪に本
We are
社を置くシステム会
Giftpad
社です。
Corporation, a system company headquartered in Osaka. We provide digital currency applications in Osaka Prefecture throughout
本
Japan
日は簡単ではありますが、弊社
and
のサービ
tourist
スの紹介
destinations
日本
abroad.
国内
Today,
ま
I'd
た
like
海
to
外におけ
give
る
you a
取り
brief
組みのお話を
introduction
させ
to
てい
our
ただきます。
services
どうぞよ
and
ろしく
share
お
our
願いします。
initiatives both
次
within
のページ
Japan
お
and
願いいたします。
internationally.
はい、はい、すいません。次のページお願いい
Next
たし
page,
ます。
please.
はい。私どもの会社はですね、現在13期目の会
Our
社でございま
company
す。
is a system
ミッション
company
が
based in
3
Osaka. Now it's
というこ
13th
とになって
year.
おりまして、
We
クライアン
uphold
ト
the
様、そ
mission
れか
of
らサプ
three-way
ライヤー様、エンドユ
satisfaction,
ーザー
and
に
we
対し
are
て
committed
三
to
方よ
providing
しのミッションを掲げ
services
ておりまして、
that not
皆様に対して喜んでいた
only
だけるよう
make
なサービス
our
と提
users
供を心
happy,
がけて
but
おり
also
ます。
bring joy to
次
our
のページお願いいた
suppliers.
します。 こちらのデータにつきましてはボードメン
We will
バーになりま
share
すので、後ほど、
this
データで資
material
料
of
の方
board
を
members
共有さ
later
せていただきま
as
す
a
のでご
data,
覧ください。
so
次の
please
ペー
take a
ジお
look
願
at
い
it
いた
as
します。
needed.
弊社のサービスは大きく2つのソリュ
We
ーションで
offer
分かれております。
mainly two
1つ目は
solutions.
自
First
治体
one
様、企業
is
様に
for
サービスを
municipalities.
提供しておるフィンテックソリューション
That's the
と、それ
fintech
から企業
solution.
様向け
And
の
another
e-gift ソリューシ
solution
ョンという
is
2つのサー
e-gift
ビスに分かれて
solutions
おりま
for
す。
companies.
ユーザー様の対象については本当に
We have
様々
such
で
a
して、
wide range of
事業対
users,
象者、インバウンド観光客、
business
企業の
companies,
顧客や
inbound
従業員などが
tourists,
ございます。
and companies,
また、
clients,
形
and
式された商
employees.
品やシステムではなく、
We
事
provide
業や
not
キャンペーンに
as
合わせ、
packaged product and
2つのソ
system.
リューションを組み合
Based
わ
on
せ
the
て最
businesses
適
and
化、カ
campaigns,
スタマ
we
イズ
can
したシス
combine
テム
two
を提供する
solutions
こと
and
が、
provide
これがギ
optimized
フト
and
パッドの大き
customized
な強みと
system.
なっており
So
ます。
that's our
次
big
のページお願
strength.
いいたします。弊社は、大きくサービスの内容としては6つになっておりま
Basically,
す。
we have
フィン
six
テック
type
ソリュー
of
ションといたし
services.
ましては、
As a
一番
fintech
左上
solution, the
の、
top
デ
left,
ジタル地域
the
通貨アプリ、
digital
リージョンペイという
region
アプリになってござい
currency
ます。
app called
こちら
Region
のリージョン
Pay.
ペイが最もよく
We
皆様
believe
に認知
that
されているもの
Region
になるか
Pay
と思いま
is
す。
the
大阪府
solutions
様では、
which are
現在
recognized
子
the
ども
most.
食費支
In
援事業にお
Osaka,
けるデジタルクーポンでもご利用いただい
this
ており
is
ます。
used
また、
for
後ほど
the
ご紹
child
介さ
food
せていただ
support
くグアム
project.
ペイに関しても、このアプリを
And
使っ
we're going to
て導入
introduce
いただ
Guam
けると
Pay
思いま
later,
す。
and that also
他
uses
の
this
5
app.
つは e-gift を
The
ベース
other
に
five of
2G、
them,
2B、2C 向けに展
those
開してい
are
るものに
for
なります。
2G,
次のペー
B,
ジ
C,
お願いいた
mainly
しま
as
す。
e-gift.
こちらは主要機能一覧になりますが、
This slide shows the
後ほどご
main
覧いただければと思い
functionality.
ます。
You can
次の
take a
ペー
look
ジ
at
お
it
願いい
later.
たします。はい、こちらが先ほど申し上げましたリージョンペイの説明
This
となり
slide
ます。
shows the
アプリ
information
で
of
ポイントの
Region
チャージ
Pay.
から決済まで可能
So
に
you can
なってお
charge
ります。
points to make
QR
payment
コー
through
ド
the app.
QR コード等の設置物を物理的制御で使用範囲を限
So
定し
by
て、
defining
キャッシュ
where
レス
to
ポイン
place
トの
QR
交付など
codes, we can limit the scope of
キャッ
use.
シュレスポイントの交付などと違って、地域
Not
の
like
経済活
cashless
性化の観点
point
で質の高
provision,
い事業実施を可能としておりま
we
す。
can provide high quality businesses
企業
from the
様の利には
regional
テクノシー
revitalization
における
initiative
店舗クーポンのデ
perspectives.
ジタル化や企業内
For
通貨、学
companies,
校内通貨などでご利
it
用い
can
た
be
だい
used
てお
for
ります。
digitalizing store
次のペー
coupons
ジお願い
for
いたします。
shareholder benefits
こ
for
ちら
corporate and school
e-gift ソリューション
currencies.
の説明となりますが、
It's
本日は
about
お書きさ
e-gift
せていただき
solutions,
ま
but
す。
let me skip
次
this
のペー
part
ジお願いい
today.
たします。リージョンペイは日本人口の
Region
約
Pay has
10% にあたる
achieved
1118万ダウンロードも達成してお
11.1
りま
million
して、
downloads, which is
全自
about
治体の
10% of the Japanese
65% ほどにあたる
population, and it has a
1129
track
の自治体
record
様
of
で
being
ご利用い
used
ただいた
by
実績もございます。
1,129
次のページお願い
municipalities,
し
which
ま
is
す。
about
こちらも
65% of all
後ほどご覧いただ
municipalities.
ければと思います。次の
Let
ペ
me
ージお
skip
願い
this
します。
page.
こちらのテクノロジーに関しましても、
This
後
slide
ほどご
is
覧くだ
about
さい。
technology.
次
You
のペ
can
ージ
look
お願
at
い
it
します。
later.
こちらも顧客体験ができる
It's
という内容に
about
なっております
customer
ので、後ほ
experience.
どご
Let
覧
me
くだ
skip
さい。
this part as
はい、
well.
では次のページお願いいたします。
Next page, please.
はい、こちらがですね、実際のご利用事例をご紹介さ
So
せてい
let
た
me
だきます。
introduce the actual
一
use
番左、
cases.
大
The
阪市のプレミア
left-hand
ム付
side
き商品券事業に
It's for Osaka City Premium Gift Certificate Project, and our system has been adopted for 2 consecutive years. So Premium Gift Certificate is For example, you purchase 10,000 yen portion, and you can, or you pay 10,000 yen and purchase 13,000 yen worth of gift certificates. And it used to be used, the papers has been used, but by introducing this digital solutions, it's easier to manage data and also reduce the burden of operation. The premium gift certificate project conducted in Osaka City boasts one of the highest payment amount in Japan, with a total payment amount for this project exceeding 56 billion yen. Regarding tourism, in Guam, we provide a region-paid service for a campaign to attract Japanese tourists. To be more specific, in cooperation with the Guam Visitors Bureau, we provide local currency that can be used in Guam to the target users who are Japanese in this case, and can be spent at local restaurants and other establishments. The purpose of this campaign, which connects overseas tourist destinations with Japan, is twofold: to increase the number of tourists and to increase the spending of Japanese tourists. This business model is highly versatile and can be widely deployed. This was for Guam, but they can connect tourists from various countries with Japanese tourist destinations, or vice versa, using local currency as an economic incentive to link both parties. The implementation in Guam was also supported by the Tourist Bureau, and the operation screen is available in English, allowing us to introduce it without major issues. We are currently in the third phase. A Korean company that learned about this campaign is now proceeding with the introduction of a Korean version. If you're interested in, please do not hesitate to contact us. Another campaign on the right-hand side. So we are conducting, it's with a company that has members all over the world, or members who come to Japan for tourism or business. We provide a coupon through Region Pay that can be used at Narita and Haneda airports, as well as their surroundings areas. This is not from the perspective of attracting visitors, but also improving satisfaction and services for members of the companies. Like this, by using our fintech solution, Region Pay can be used to revitalize the local economy by restricting areas and to promote tourism and improve customer satisfaction. This app currently supports English, and other languages will be implemented in sequence. We can also provide the same quality of service in combination with browser. By doing that, we can provide a good quality of the service. We can assist you from the design of the system for your business, so please feel free to contact us if you have any ideas. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hara. So we would like to move on to the next presentation. Please wait for a while. So we would like to welcome the next speaker. So the next presentation, the pitch will be by CTIA, Mr. Mitsuru Tezuka. Please begin your presentation. The floor is yours, Mr. Tezuka.
はい。
Thank you very much.
ありがとうございます。世の中に、ブロックチェーン
Thank you very
が
much.
認知されて、10年
So
以
it
上
has been
経過している
more than 10 years
ところですけれ
since
ども、
blockchain
な
has
ぜ
been
社会
acknowledged
活動が
by
そこま
the
で
world, but
進ん
why
でいない
is
のか。
not blockchain being
それ
implemented
は
into
使う
the
側に
society?
対するハードルが非常に高いとい
And
うこ
that
と
is
が原因だ
because
と
the hurdle
思います。
to implement
私は
blockchain is so high.
の 手塚と言います。
So my name is Tezuka and I'm the founder of CTIA. Let me briefly introduce myself.
2010年初期にビットコインを知って、イーサリアムだった
So
り
since I knew
の
Bitcoin and
ICO に参加して、
Ethereum,
大阪を拠
I
点に
attended
たくさんの人たち
some
に暗号資
associations
産の魅力を広げて、
wanted
多くの
to
方の
spread
キャピタルゲイン
the
を実現させてきました。
appealness and attractiveness of
カルダノ
blockchain to the people in Osaka and decided to
創
found
業
this
しです
company.
ね。カルダノの創業メンバーの一人でもあって、今ではだいたい10ビリオン
And
USD
currently,
ほどの
we
市場規模
have
になっているカルダノですが、
Cardano
当
has
時
currently
確
a
か大阪
market
を
size
拠点
of
に
10
活動をして
billion
いました。
US dollars, but at that time,
CTIA
their base was in
は、ブ
Osaka.
ロックチェーンを活用したフィンテック事業
CTIA
よって、
is a
マイクロファイナン
fintech
スだっ
business
たり
using
マイ
like
クロレンジン
blockchain.
グを駆使して、
And
フェアな社
by
会を
using
実
micro
現
lending
する
and
ということを
microfinance, we
ビ
would
ジョン
like to
としてま
realize
す。
fairness.
最近は
That
セ
is
キ
our
ュリティ
vision.
トークンだったり
And
NFT、
recently, we
リ
have
アル
security
ワールドア
token,
セット
NFT, and
な
real
ど、
world
よ
asset.
り従来のファイナンスに寄り添ったトークン化
And
というものが世界中
we
で進められている
are now
と
working,
いうところですけれ
and
ど
the
も、
world
多
is
くの
working
とこ
on
ろ
the
で見ら
tokenization
れる
of
傾
these
向とし
assets.
ては、
And one of the trends
必
that we
要性
often
のない
observe is
です。
some people believe that
例え
it
ば
is not
NFT
necessary.
で
For
いうと、
example,
何
when
かし
we
らの
look
権
at
利を
NFT,
NFT 化して販売してたりと
there's
かす
a
るという
certain
ことをよく
right
見受けられます
that
けれど
is
も、
converted to
実
NFT
際
and
の法
sold
律
through a
で
project.
は、配当権
However,
だったり所有権などが
the
紐
ownership
づいて
or
ないパターンという
the
のも
right of
あり
dividend
ます
is not legally
この
binded
ように
to that.
需要がないところに供給しようと
So
する
even
も
though
の
we
が
supply,
多
even
く
though
見受
there's
け
no
られます。
demand, it will
社
not help
会
the
リストに
society.
至
And
らな
that's
いの
actually
は
the
そういっ
trend
た理
that
由
we
も
are
あるんじゃない
observing.
かなというふう
And
に
that's,
思
I
っていま
think,
す。
also another reason it is not leading to
CTIA では
social
ブロックチェーンコン
implementation.
サル
In
やフィンテッ
CTIA,
ク
we
教
provide
育、そ
blockchain
して開発
consultation
という
and
ものを
fintech
実施しています。
education and also work
私
on the
たちが現
development.
在行っている事業のいくつかをご紹介させ
So
ていた
now
だき
I
ま
would
す。
like to introduce some of the
一つは
businesses we are
メタバー
engaging
ス
in.
事業
First
で
is
す
the
ね。
metaverse
ア
business.
メリカの SEC にも登録されているメタバースプラットフォー
So
ムの
there is a
フューチャーバー
metaverse
ス
platform, Futureverse, that is also
現在
registered to
800ミ
the
リオン
US
USD
SEC.
の企業価値
So
で、
the corporate
アメリ
value
カブ
is
ランド
currently
だったり、
800 million US
ワーナーブ
dollars,
ラザーズな
and
ど
Warner
多く
Brothers
の
and
企業
other
やベンチャーと
major
提携して、
companies and
自
ventures
社
are
のブロックチェ
collaborating
ーンと
with
AI
them.
技術を活用
And
して様
by
々な
using
ゲー
their
ム
own
だった
blockchain
り、
and
ユー
AI,
ザ
they
ー体
provide
験が
games
できる
or
ように
also
取り
user
組んでおりま
experiences.
す。ご存知の通り、
As you
日
are
本
all
のアニ
aware,
メや漫画という
the
のは、世界的
Japan
に非
anime
常に
and
好評
manga
を受けているもの
is
が多く、
receiving a lot
代
of
表的なも
positive
のでいうと、ドラゴンボール
reactions around
だ
the
ったり、
world.
ナ
For
ルト、
example,
セーラー
Dragon
ムーン、
Ball,
ポケットモンスタ
Sailor
ー
Moon,
などです
Naruto,
ね。
Pocket Monster,
また、ソニーのプレイステーションだ
and
ったり、
also the Sony
任天
PlayStation
堂スイッチ
and
など、
Nintendo
幼
Switch.
少期からゲームに慣れ親しんだ
So
国民
those
性で
who
もある
have played
ということから、
games
日本発
since
信の
they
ゲー
were
ム
young
やアニメを、
exist a lot in
大きく
Japan,
影
and
響を与え
these
ている
people
とこ
are
ろ
also
と
having
思
a
い
strong
ます。
impact to
しかし、
the
現時点で
global
新
trend of
しい
anime
変
and
化を受け入れ
manga.
ていないクリエイターも
However,
存在
there
します。
are a lot of creators who
例え
are
ば、
not being
PR す
reasonably
る機会が
valued.
少ない
For
だったり、
example, not
注
having
文
many
集権化し
opportunities
てしま
to
って
do
い
the
る、
PR activities,
様
or
々な原因が
sometimes it's
あると
centralized.
思い
I
ますけれ
believe
ど
that
も、
there's many
すべて
factors
のクリ
behind
エイ
that,
ターが自分たち
but I
の
would
作
like
品
all
を
creators
発信
to
できるプラットフォーム
have a
をフュー
platform
チャー
to
バースは目指
disseminate
してい
their
ます。
artwork, and that is the
フューチャーバー
purpose
ス
and
の特
objective
徴
of
は大きく
Futureverse.
2つあり
There
ま
are
す。
mainly
一
two
つはイン
characteristics for
ターオペラビリ
Futureverse.
ティ。
One is
フュー
interoperability.
チャーバース上で作られたあ
The
らゆるアセット
asset
は
that has been
他の
created
メ
on
タバースプロジェ
Futureverse
クトに転換する
can,
ことが
can
でき
be
ます。
converted to other
一般
metaverses.
的に自分
In
たちの経済
general,
圏での
they
流動性を高め
want
て
to
から
increase their
後に
liquidity
こ
within
の
their
ブロックチェーンやメ
ecosystem
タバー
and
スプロジェク
then
トと接続するという
connect
こと
it
が
with other
多く見受けられますけれ
blockchains
ども、フ
or
ューチャーバースは
metaverses.
あらかじめ
However, for Futureverse,
他の
from the
メタバー
beginning,
スプロジェクトと接続できるように設計
they
されています。
can connect
ま
from from other metaverses from the very start. And another characteristic is the collaboration with Player One. One of the keys, or another word to express metaverse, is Steven Spielberg's movie called Ready Player One. This movie has really expressed the world of metaverse and also one of the successful cases of metaverse. And a lot of metaverses are trying to make this movie real. This future verse together with the Moderator 1, has an exclusive agreement and together with them created a metaverse studio and engaging in the metaverse business. This metaverse business is set to exceed 700 trillion by 2030. And by collaborating with Futureverse, I hope that we will be able to create more excitement in Japan as well. And if anybody is interested in the IP business in Japan, we would like to pursue such opportunities together with you. And another area CTIA is focusing on is the blockchain development business. I did share with you some examples why blockchain is not being implemented in the society. But to start with, the majority of the blockchain are designed for domestic use. So, for example, the concept of the algorithm is different, but trying to bridge that is considered high risk. So through bridge, if the blockchain are connected, then the risk for hacking will increase. But still, they want to further scale their network. Therefore, they have the will to bridge between blockchains. And to handle and respond to these needs while maintaining the domestic use, we have designed it so that they'll be able to connect to other networks. And the more the blockchains are connected with each other, with the network effect, this mechanism will help further enhance the security. And also the PDF within the PC and the other files, including Excel file, can also be put on the blockchain in a very easy way. So I cannot disclose more details without any NDA, so that will be all for the explanation. But we focused on the reason why it is not being socially implemented and worked on the tracing. And after the energy is generated until it's consumed, we want to track the entire process. And that's another verification that we are working on. And another major reason that it is not being implemented is because there's not that many businessmen and women who have a good understanding about fintech. They do not know what fintech is and how they should work on it and how they should lead the fintech business. We are lacking such talent. So I have had various conversations with many people, but there are many people who there are not that many people who understand both finance and technology. So in Singapore, we have established Global Fintech Institute and focusing on developing fintech professionals, and also have created license for CFTP, which is Chartered Fintech Professionals. So this is the only fintech program that has been certified by the Singapore government. And those who take the CFTP and also have a Singapore nationality will be able to receive financial support from the Singapore government. So in the near future, in SMU, the Singapore University, the CFTP program will start. It has already been licensed. And those who have this license are playing an active role in various areas, including finance. And we also have this global non-profit organization called Digital Asset Association that was established. And through this association, we have discussions and verifications about how to promote the use of real-world asset. So both DAA and CFI has been established by the members in Singapore and also the board members as well. So we don't openly talk about these that much, but other activities will include, for example, the ones showing in the screen right now. For example, we are doing a co-research together with Kyoto University and also collaborating with other companies too. And there are some press releases that we have issued. So if you are interested, please take a look. Thank you very much, and thank you for your attention as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tezuka, for your presentation. So now we would like to end the first session, the pitch session of the two fintech companies from Osaka. So we would like to have a short break here, and we would like to begin the seminar at 4:40 for the next session, 4:40 Japanese time for the panel discussion. So again, we are having a short break for about 10 minutes, and then we would like to begin the next session at 4:40 Japanese time. If you are leaving the webinar at this time, please kindly cooperate for answering the survey. After you exit this event, the seminar survey would be automatically pop up. So please kindly cooperate with answering to that survey. Please wait for a while before we begin the session. And also, you may find the link for the survey by the chat box, which our host, the secretariat, posted the link for the survey. So you may also have a click on that and then proceed to the survey and you can answer it there. So please wait for a while before we begin. Okay, so thank you very much. We will be beginning the event shortly, but here I would like to have a review on the time schedule of today. So we just ended the first session, which is the pitches by the Osaka-based fintech companies. And after this break, we are welcoming again two fintech companies with the moderator for the panel discussion. So this roundtable session will be the discussions regarding the allure of the Osaka and other interesting themes. So we are having the roundtable from 4:40 for approximately 1 hour, then followed by the 1 hour networking business matching session. Right, so we will begin shortly, resume this session shortly. So please wait for a while before we would restart at 4:40. Thank you very much. All right, thank you very much for kindly waiting for a while. And then we would like to move on to the next session of this webinar. So the next session is the roundtable discussion by Osaka-based fintech companies. So we are welcoming two fintech companies which presented at the first session, and then they will talk about the attractiveness of Osaka from a global perspective, including the benefits of having an overseas business development and their experiences and the business environment, the attractiveness or the allure of Osaka. So this for this session, the panelists would be Ms. Keiko Hara from Giftpad and Mr. Mitsuru Tezuka from CTIA, as they appeared earlier. And also we are welcoming the moderator, Mr. Yuki Kishi from Fintech Association of Japan. He's the managing director of the association, and as well he is serving as an executive officer, CFO of the Sustainable Labs. So we are welcoming Mr. Kishi, Mr. Tezuka, and Ms. Hara onto the stage, and then we would like to begin this roundtable discussion. And please bear in mind that this session will be held in Japanese as well. So you may find the translation function of the Zoom at your screen. So you can choose whether you would like to hear the original Japanese voice, or if you would need an English translation, please use this function to listen to the translated voices. And also, as written below, if you have any questions to the panelists, please let us know by using the chat box. You may also find the chat box at the below of this Zoom function, and you can choose sending the message to the host. So if you have any question to the panelists, please send a chat to the host by this Zoom function, and the secretariat and the moderator would pick up the questions accordingly. So if you have any question, please feel free to raise your question throughout the chat box. All right, so we are already having Mr. Kishi, Mr. Tezuka, and Ms. Hara. So we would like to move on to the panel session. Thank you.
はい、ありがとうございます。皆さん、こんにちは。はじめま
Hello
して。
everyone.
私、フィンテック協会で常務理事を務めている
I'm Yuki Kishi, Managing Director, Fintech Association of
先ほど
Japan.
坂さんからのご紹介にもあった通りですね。
Like introduced earlier,
本業は
my main work my main role is working as executive officer, CFO for Sustainable
今
Lab.
日は大阪発のこのフィンテック企業ってみたいなところで、セッションの
So
モデレ
today's
ートをしてる
focus
んですけれど
is
も、私自身もですね、
fintech companies from Osaka. And I'm actually from Osaka. I was born in Osaka.
生まれ育ちでござい
I
ます。
was raised in
なので、こういった中
Setsu
で
in
大
Osaka.
阪にこうある意味恩返しできることは
So
個人的には
today
嬉しいなと思って
I'm
います。
contributing
まあ
to
フィンテック
this
っていう領域も
third
個
session
人
to
的に
Osaka.
も
I am so
8年
happy.
ぐらいですかね、
And
いろいろ
I'm
取り
in
組
the
んでいる領域であ
fintech
るので、
area
非
for
常
the
に楽
past
しみ
8 years.
にして
So
おりま
I
す
am
ので、
very
よろしくお
excited
願い
today.
します。さて、という中で、まあ、先ほど、まあ、原さん、手
Okay.
塚さんの方には、
Hara-san,
事業の今の状
Tezuka-san,
況
they
という
provided
か
their business
その内容は
presentation.
まあ、ざっくりと伺ったんですけれども、まあ、今日はですね、一応、まあ、大阪っていう、まあ、
Today,
一つの軸が
the
あるかなと思って
keyword
い
is
るんです
Osaka.
が、なんか、そもそも皆さん、なぜ大阪をこの創業の地として選んだのかっていうとこ
So
ろです
I'd
ね。
like to
ちょっと
ask
いろいろと伺って
them
い
like
きたいなと思
why
うんで
they
すけれども、
decided like pick up
先
Osaka to
ほ
start
ど
their
ですね、原
business.
さんからじゃあまず
So
お話しいた
Hara-san,
だけますでし
maybe
ょうか。
first from you.
はい、実は創業の地は大阪では
In
ないん
fact,
ですけ
we
れど
didn't
も、
start our business in Osaka. Oh, really?
実はですね、兵庫県西宮市
Actually,
で、創
Nishinomiya
業したん
City
で
in
すが、
Hyogo, that's
そ
where
こ
we
から
started our
拠点を移
business.
転しまして
And we
し
relocated
っか
our
り大阪の経
headquarters
営を
to
させていただいてお
Osaka.
ります。
So now we are the
もと
Osaka
もとですね、
company. So originally,
取締役全員関西出身の
like
人
all the
間
board
でして、
members are from Kansai area.
半分大阪、半
Maybe
分
half
兵
of
庫という
them
形で
from Osaka, half of them
し
from
っ
Hyogo
かり手
Prefecture.
を
In that
通
sense,
して
we
です
have
ね、
a
大
route
阪
to
から
Osaka,
スタートアップベン
and
チャーっていう形
we
で
are a startup
や
venture
っていこうか
company
なというところで
from
ございます。
Osaka.
なの
Yeah.
でなんか
So
大阪創業じゃないっていう
we actually
になっ
didn't
てしまって
start our
申し訳ないん
business
ですけれ
from
ども、
Osaka. I'm sorry to say that,
しっか
but
り
now we
一
recognized
度リードい
ourselves,
きますので
our
どうぞ
Osaka
よろしくくだ
company.
さい。
ありがとうございます。逆に、だから今、その
Okay.
大阪にこう根付いてるってい
So
う、そこの
you
背
said
景なんかあ
that
るん
you
です
have a
か？
root in
お伺いしたいんです
Osaka.
けど。
What's
そ
the
うですね、
background of it?
本店移転を大
Well,
阪
we
にしてから、そ
relocated
れま
our
で本当に
headquarters
兵
to
庫県
Osaka.
の
Before
市の
that,
一室でや
we
ってたよ
used
うな
just
会社な
one
んですけ
room
れど
of
も、やはり
apartment
大
in
阪に事務
Hyogo
所を構え
Prefecture.
てから、
When we relocated
しっかりと
headquarters
こ
to
う大阪
Osaka
の
since
人を
then,
採用してですね、
we
大阪の
hired people
大
in
阪
Osaka.
の中で、
In Osaka,
事業を展開してきているっていうところもありますし、
we are
先ほども
conducting
少し
our
申し上げまし
businesses.
たが、
Like I mentioned
関西
earlier,
愛キャンペーンですとか、大阪府、大阪市の
Kansai
お米
campaign and
ですとか、そういったところ
Osaka's
をしっかりやっていますので、
rice pay.
非
Like
常に
we
大
have
阪市
various
のお客
solutions
様っていう
in
のは弊社の中
Osaka.
で、
So
超
Osaka
巨大クラ
Prefecture
イアントに
and
なっていますので、そういった意味
municipalities
で
are such a big
しっ
clients
かり
for
と
us.
リ
In
レーシ
that
ョン、
sense,
地域
we
自治体様と
have a
リ
strong
レーション取れ
relationship
てるんじゃないか
with
なと
local
思っていま
community
す。
and municipalities
ありが
in
とうござい
Osaka.
ます。なんかもう一点そこで
Thank you.
付随してなんですけれども、
So
まあ
one more
先ほど
question to you.
西宮からこう移転され
So
て
you
大阪にっていう
relocated
ま
headquarters
あと
from
はいえなんか
Nishinomiya to Osaka.
まあ日本見たときに、まあ東京みたいなとこ
However,
ろが
maybe you had an
オプションとし
option,
てあったのか、
other
いやいやここ
options
はもう
like
初めから
Tokyo, right?
先ほどおっしゃった
Or
ように
you
取締
didn't
役
have
全員関
that
西人なんで、もうそれ
other
は大阪ですわ
options
って感じ
because all the board members are from Kansai area?
実は東京オフィスの方が
To
最
be
初に
honest,
開
Tokyo
設しまし
office
て、
was established earlier,
すみません、ちょっと
actually.
期待通りのお答
いやいや
えにならない
I'm
全然
sorry,
全然全
I
然
am
いい
not
ですよ。
providing the answer you may
実
expected.
は、創
In
業して
fact,
5年ほどで先に東京オフィ
5
スを開設してます。
we
当社はも
launched
ち
the
ろんその
Tokyo
西宮の
office
マンションの
in
オフィ
the
スの
fifth
まま
year of our
東京の
business.
方を最初に開設したんですけれども、やはりその
And then
役員みんな関西人なので、
board
東
members
京の
are from
出張
Kansai
ベースであっ
area.
て、
So visiting
大
Tokyo
阪
as
関
business
西に戻
trip
ってくるみたい
and
な
coming
生
back
活
to
を
Kansai
続けて
area.
いる中で、
So that's what they were doing at that time.
大
And
阪
then
にちゃんと事務所作ろうよ
we started to want to have an office in
あ
Osaka.
その時になんか東京に逆に本社移転しようかみたいな、そんな話
So
出なかったん
you
ですか？
didn't consider to relocate headquarters to
なかった
Osaka?
ですね、不思議と。
No, we didn't,
東京オフィスに行
interestingly.
っても、
When we
みんな
visited Tokyo office,
今日は私よそ行きなので標準語っぽく喋
well,
って
I
ます
am
けど、
talking like Tokyo people
みんなやっ
today
ぱり
because
関
it's an
西弁
official
で
occasion,
東京オ
but
フィスに行った人
board
大
members spoke Kansai Osaka style. So somehow, interestingly, yeah, we all wanted to have office in Osaka, not to Tokyo.
じゃあ、手塚さんにもぜひ伺いたいんですけど、
Now I
まず
want to
ちょっと
ask questions to
前提として
Tezuka-san.
創業の地は大阪ですかって
So
いうところ
did you start your
はい
business in
大阪
Osaka?
です
Yes,
はい
Osaka, right.
なるほ
ま
ど。うん。
あ、まあ、僕自身が大阪生まれ、大阪育
Because
ち
I
ってい
was
う
born in
豊中っていうと
Osaka,
こ
I
ろなんです
raised
け
in
れども、
Osaka,
はい。まあ、そういうところから大阪、まあ、あと当時一緒
and
に
also
働いてたチーム自体がみんな大阪の
team
人間だったっていう
members
のは、まあ、大き
I
く
was
理由の
working
一
at
つに
that
はなる
time.
か
They
な
are
と思い
all
ます。
from Osaka. So that's one of the
逆
biggest
にそこ
reasons.
の大阪の地選んでなんか良かったこととかあります？
So
えっ
what was the
と、
benefit
僕ら
by picking up
2012
the
年
office in
当初
Osaka?
うん。
に、まあ、ビットコイン、まあ、当
In
時ビットコインしかなかったですけど、これをちょっ
we had a
と
business of
広めようみ
Bitcoin
たい
and
な、
we
まだ
wanted
当
to
時ラウンドボ
expand
ック
it.
スっていうのがまああった時
Mt.
代でした
Gox
け
at
ど、ビ
that
ットコインって
time.
もしかしたらすごいんじゃないかみたいなぐらいのテンションだった時に、
We
大
wanted
阪
to
の人た
expand
ちにまあ話を
Bitcoin.
しに行った時に、
And when we visited
ぶっ
Osaka
ちゃけ大
people
阪の人た
to
ちっ
have a
て
conversation, and their
なんでしょう
reactions,
通
like
常わからない
in
もの
Osaka,
を聞いた時って、まあ、閉鎖的になる人たちっていうのが多
usually
そうなイメージなんですけれど
people
も、
became
当時
kind
ビ
of
ットコインってです
suspicious
ね、
when we
Google 検索
hear
して
the new
60件
things
ぐらいしか検
because
索ヒッ
at
ト
that
しないし、
time
全部英語だったんですけれども、
there
なん
are
かよくわ
limited
からんけど面白そうや
information
な
for
みたいな
Bitcoin.
人た
However,
ちが
Osaka
多
people
かっ
got
たってい
really
うところがあっ
interested
て、
in
大阪の
this
人た
new
ち中心
concept
に、まあ、
as
そこからイ
Bitcoin.
ーサリアムだったり、リップル
And
だったり、
then
エーダ
it
だったりとか
started
っていうの
more
をやってた
Ethereum
経緯、背
ripples,
景があ
and
るの
then
で、
うん。
まあ、それちょっと
that's
CTIA の
how
前
it
職なんです
started.
けれども、まあ、そういうところからなんでしょう、大阪の人たちの方が受け入れられやすかったっ
So
ていうと
people
ころ
in
は、はい、
Osaka
選んで
were
よかった
more
点かなと
open
は思ってます。
to accept new ideas. I think that's
そうなん
the
ですね。
reason.
面白いですね。それは
Interesting.
あれですか？なんかこう、今、ブロックチェーンっていう軸で、まあおっしゃってましたけれ
You
ども、なん
mentioned
か、今までこ
blockchain.
う、手塚さんがいろんなこう事業を過去にやられてきて
So
る中
you
で、
were
なんか今
involved in
新しい
various
ものをできるみたいなところってや
businesses.
っぱあったり
And
するんですかね。
are
大
you
阪の人の
always
方
interested
が
in new
あ
things?
る
I
か
think
なと
people
いう
in
か、
Osaka
通
are
常、
interested in
そ
new
れは
things
ちょっといい
more.
表現じゃないかもしれない。まあ僕も含めてですけれども、よくわからないものはリーチして調べて、いろんなことを検
So
証し
if
たり
they
と
are
か、
not
リ
familiar
サーチす
with
るっ
the
ていうことをま
topic,
ず通常であれば
usually
うん。
かなと思うんですけ
I
れども、
believe
大
that
阪の人
people
たち
will
は、
research, do
まあ
some
そこをすっ
research
飛
on
ばして、
that.
なんか
However,
まあ
people in
肌感
Osaka
という
skip
か
that
感性と
process
いうか、
and
まあそう
just
かっこいい言い方をし
look
たん
at
で
it
すけれども、
intuitively.
一
And there
般
are
的に言
pros
うと
and
こう、
cons to
う
that.
ん。
From
で
an
すよね。
Osaka
はい、
perspective,
でやってい
they
こう
like
みたい
to
な人た
ride
ち
the
が多
trend.
かったっていうのは、
I think there are a lot
印
of
象として
people
は
in
あった
Osaka
んです
like
けど、
that.
当時は一番最初は
And
僕ら
that's also
2C
one
だ
of
った
the
んで、
reasons
今は
we
もう実は
decided
ブ
to
ロック
start
チ
our
ェーンっていう
business in
社会実
Osaka.
装実証実
Initially,
験
we
っていう
started at
2B
2C,
よりだっ
but
たんですけれ
now
ども、当
we
時
are
は
more on
一
the
番最初は
2B
ちょっと
side.
2C だったので、
But initially, when we founded our company, it was a
その
2C
中で
business.
伺って、原さんとかいかがですか？
So,
なんか
Hara-san, what do you
地
think?
地域との違いみたいなところでもいいかもしれないですけど、まあ、
So, do
ま
you
ず
feel
大阪
any
と関西
difference
と東京だと思うんで
between
すが、
the
その辺の
locations
地
like
域間
Osaka
の
and Tokyo?
違いとか、なんか感じたりします？
Have you observed any
そう
difference
ですね。
between the
先ほど申し上
locations
げた
or
みたいに
regions?
東京のオフィスも
So
あ
yes,
りま
as
して、
mentioned earlier, we also do
人
have an
数
office
的に
in
は半々
in
ですね。
Tokyo,
大阪と東京
and
と。
the
大
number
阪
of
本社と
members
東
are
京
like
オフィスと
half-half.
半々ぐらい従業員いるんですけ
So
れ
the
ど
number
も、
of employees is
やはり
half-half
こ
between
う、
Osaka and
会社
Tokyo.
の中の雰囲気っていうのは全
But
然
when we
違
look
っ
at our
ていて、 大
atmosphere, it's
阪
completely
本社の
different.
雰囲気っていうのはも
The
う本当
Osaka
に
headquarters
ワイガ
atmosphere
ヤで
is
して、
very noisy and filled with
そんな
excitement.
にお膳立てしなくても、新しくメンバーが増えた時なんかはワイガ
So
ヤ
when
ですぐ
there's
に
a new
人
member
とな
that
仲良くな
joins,
るみた
they
いな
will
と
be
ころ
able
が
to
ありま
naturally
すが、
fit in.
東京の方はやはりちょっと
However,
礼
when we
儀
look
正
at
しいと言います
Tokyo,
か、
everybody
い
is
い
very
感じの
polite.
お行儀がいい
So
です
maybe
ね。
they're a little bit too polite
まあ
in a good
時
way.
々冷たい、大阪からこう出
But
張で行くと少し冷たい
if I make a business trip to
とこ
Tokyo
ろ
from
が、お
Osaka,
互い良し悪しだと思
they
うんですけ
seem
ど、大
like
阪は
they
すごく
are
礼
having
儀
a
がい
certain
い。
distance.
で、
I think there are pros and
あ
cons,
る
but
の
I
とズバズ
think
バ、
that Osaka may be a
ズ
little
バズ
bit
バとい
more
ろいろ
friendly
コ
or
ミュニ
maybe
ケー
a
ショ
little
ンを
bit
取
too
るような
noisy. opportunity. Thank you very much for that comment. So you talked about the employees, and my question is addressed to Tezuka-san. In terms of acquiring talent, so Osaka is a big market, and there's also very good universities. But in terms of scale, we are behind Tokyo. And under such situation, do you struggle in trying to hire talent, especially in the fintech business? Or are there any trends that you are observing in terms of hiring good talent?
CTIA がもともと大阪
So
で、
CTIA was founded in Osaka, and in the following year, we set up a branch office in Tokyo, Marunouchi.
今はもう閉鎖してるんですけ
But
れども、
actually now we have already closed that branch office in Tokyo.
人たちをもともとは大阪の人
But
たち重視で
initially,
やってましたと。
we
で
mainly
新しい人た
focused
ちっていうのは
on
東京
people
で
from
起業する人が
Osaka.
多かったんですけれども、
And for
やは
the
り
new
大手
employees,
まあ
we
本当に
tend to
有名
hire
な金融
from
機関だったりと
Tokyo.
か、有名な
And
商
they
社だ
were
ったりと
people
か
that worked
を
in the
持ってる
major
方々が出身の人
trade
たちが、まあ
houses
当時のこ
or
のブ
the
ロックチェーン
financial
会社にも興味を
institutions.
感じてくれた
They
方
were
々に、まあ
interested
積極的に興
in
味を持ってくださった
fintech and
方々が一
blockchain.
定数いたんですけれども、
There were a certain number of
どっちか
people
とい
that
う
were
と
interested in fintech and blockchain,
僕の中では
but
それちょっと良くなかったかなという
I personally
感じ
thought
が、
that that
東
wasn't
京の人た
a
ち、
good trend.
大阪、東京で比べたときに、まあ
When
コ
we
ストってい
compare
うのが
with
まあやっぱ
Tokyo
大
and
きく
Osaka,
違
one
う
of
っていう
the
ところがまず
biggest
一つ
difference
と、
is the cost.
やはりどっちかというと僕らドベンチャーな
And
の
we
で、まあ
are
ベンチャー的な動きと
still a
大手
venture company, and we
の
wanted
方
to
々の動きっていうのが、まあ
work
視点だっ
like
た
a
りと
venture
か行動
company,
パターンっていう
and
ところがちょっと違っ
sometimes the
たんで、ま
behavior
あ僕の
pattern or the way we
単純
take
にその、なんで
actions
しょうね、
differed from those who
ブロ
have
ックが合わな
experience
かったと
working
いう
in
表
those
現にな
big
るんですけれ
major
ど、なの
enterprises.
で、
So maybe
東京
our
は2年ほ
culture
どで
didn't
即座に閉めたという形に
match
な
that
ってま
much.
すね。
So we
それも大
closed our
阪の
Tokyo
方
branch
々は、まあ
office
そ
in
の
2
分そういう
years.
ところもあったんでしょうけども、
So for the
割と面白
Tokyo
そうなことをやってて面白そうなこと
so
を
for the
やって
Osaka
まあ
headquarters,
手伝わせて
people
よみたいな
were
人たちっていう輪
really
が
excited,
できやす
and
かったっていうの
it
は、
was easier to create this atmosphere of everybody collaborating with
コ
each
スト
other.
ってやっぱ全然違うもんなんですか？
So
その辺
was the
原さんみ
cost
たいな人が
completely
登場
different?
になるかもしれないですけ
I
ど。
think the audience is different,
まずその
is
物
interested in the
件
difference
っ
in
て
the
いうとこ
cost.
ろがまず
So
大きく、
first,
はい、
the
もう雲泥の差って言っていいぐらい違
is
うから、
completely
僕らの
different.
大阪と東京のオフィス、まあ当然広さも大阪の方が
Of
広いです
course,
し、
the
その3
Osaka
ところも、
office was
3
much
倍以上違
larger.
った。
I think it was 3-fold
まあ
larger
丸
than the
の内と
Tokyo office.
心斎橋っていうところ、まあ言って大阪の心斎橋って結
So
構中
we
心
were
地のところ
located in Shinsaibashi in
はい
Osaka, and I
なん
think
で
it's
すけれ
still
ど
the
も、3
center
倍以
of
上違ったっ
Osaka,
ていうとこ
but
ろがまず
still
一つ。
the rent
それ
was
で、
3-fold
人件費
different.
っていうところに関して
In
も、
terms of
まあその
the
一人
labor
単価っ
cost,
ていう
the
ことを
personal
考え
cost,
たとき
when
に、ま
we
あ当
look
時、まあ
at the
大手
cost per
出身
personal,
者が多かったっていうとこ
there
ろ
were
もあり
many
ますけれど
people
も、まあ
that
大阪の
joined
人件費
from
1.5
large
倍
firms,
はかかってたり
and
ので、
the
ま
labor
あ
cost was
それを含
1.5
めると、やっ
times
ぱり大阪
higher
の方がコス
than
パは良いという
the
か、まあ大
people
阪に
in
どうして
Osaka.
も
So
同
the
じ
cost performance was
まあコ
much
スパ
better
を
in
ちょっと
Osaka. So because I'm from
ちょっと
Osaka, I tend to
重視
focus
し
on
ちゃ
the
うという
cost
ところ
performance.
はい。
ありがとうございます。理解しました。それちょっとお二方もなんか
Thank you
海
very
外
much.
をですね、やられているというところがあっ
So
た
I
ので、
think
そちら
both
の
of you
ご意見を
also
伺いたいと思うんで
have
すけれども、まず原さんに
expanded your
お伺い
business
したいのが、
overseas.
その
So my
先
first
ほど
question is for
説明
Hara-san.
の方にも確かにグアム
So
の
I
ところ
think
で
in your
やっていただいた
presentation,
か
you
と思うんです
mentioned
け
that
ど、
you also rolled out your
も
business in
なんか
Guam.
そもそもなんかなぜ海外に目を向けられたのか
But
と
to
いうとこ
start
ろだっ
with,
た
why
り、
did you
まあその
decide
な
to
ぜグアム
expand
なのかという
globally?
ところもちょっと伺いたいなと思うんですけど。
Can you please share with us your comments?
そうですね。海外っていうのは、
So
まあ、
yes, when we say
会社の
overseas,
代表取締役が、もと
our
もと
CEO
まあ、アメリカにずっといた人間でして、
used to
創
live
業当初
in
か
the
ら海
US.
外、海外ってこ
So
う
since
言
he
ってました
founded the
ので、
company, he's always mentioned
何かきっ
global
かけがあれ
expansion,
ば
global
海外
expansion.
とか
So we
ま
were
た
always
海
looking
外
for an
の
opportunity
ア
to
ライアン
go
スみたいなこ
overseas
とをいつ
or
も考
have
え
some
てい
kind
た
of
ので、
alliance with
まあ、そういったところか
the
ら始まった
overseas
と思っ
companies.
てます。
So I think
で、
that's how it all
に関して
started.
はグア
And
ム
for
の観光
Guam,
局様の方から
the
ビジョンペイを見て
tourist
ご活があったよ
agency
っていうところ
actually
がい
reached
ただい
out
てい
to
ます。
us after they found out about Region Pay.
なるほど。あれ、逆になんか
I
グアム以外
see.
ですみません、僕も不勉強で消したんですけど、なんか他に海外なんかやってたりするんですかね。
So have you
で
rolled
す
out
ね、
your business in
本
areas
格
other
的に
than
なんか事
Guam?
業をやってるわけではないんです
So we
が、ま
haven't
あ、
rolled out at full
リージョン
scale
ペイじゃ
yet,
ないところで、まあ、
but
e-gift のシス
outside
テムの方
Region
では、
Pay for the
タイ
e-gift
タイ
system, we have been
で、
doing our
タ
business
イ
in
に在
Thailand.
住している日本人の方に、
So this is for sending a gift to Japanese that are currently living in Thailand. We opened a website for them. So I can't say the exact company name, but in South Korea, just like Guam, we are considering rolling out a similar service like Region Pay.
どうですか？なんか、海外進出の難しさだったり、ね、逆にこう、
So
ま
what
して
are
や
the
りやすさ
difficulties or struggles that you faced as you expanded globally, or anything you found rewarding? So if we try to roll out at full scale, there are some legal issues, and not language barriers, but more like a culture or custom difference and legal difference. So there has to be a lot of research done in order to have our business running in other countries. And when we look at our system service, we do have some patent and rights, but we also have to be careful about that when rolling out our business overseas. We have to be very careful. So if we want to roll out a service that is well rooted in that country, it's best to have a local branch in that country, but still it's in the trial phase, so we haven't been able to go that far yet. But for the Guam use case that I shared with you earlier, so it is a closed community within Guam. Therefore, our system developers or sales rep were able to visit Guam and have discussions about how the system should be developed, and were able to immediately implement the system. So that process was fairly easy, rather than establishing a local branch or enterprise in that country. The local tourist agencies that they wanted to introduce this system, and because of that, all we had to do was provide our system and also support their language, and also check whether it operates correctly. And the merchandises were also located locally, so the hurdle was fairly low. And moving forward, we hope that we could also roll out the business horizontally in the same way. Thank you very much. Tezuka-san, what about you? You seem to also have a branch in Switzerland.
So I have the impression that you are very proactive for overseas business expansion. Why is that? Maybe is it for blockchain?
そうですね。まず、
First of all,
僕ら2012年ぐらいから特にまずク
from
リプトカレンシーの仕組みっていうところから入ってました。
our
で、そ
core
の当
business
時
was
は、いわゆるよく
cryptocurrency.
横行してた。日本
And
の
at
中で
that
横行して
time
た
in
ビジネスとしては、
Japan, as
1円
a
で買ったものを3円で売る、
typical
3円で買ったものを5円で売る
business
みたい
is
なのが
like
横行して
buying
たんです
things
ね。
as 1 yen and
これっ
selling
て
it
いわゆ
as
る、
3
ある種
yen.
情
So
報
that
を
was a
こう
very
取りに行け
popular
ないと
thing
か、
happening in
なんか
Japan.
言われたから買
And
うみたいな人たちが圧倒的に多くて、まあそういう
because there are
ICO の
people
ネガティブな
who's
部分
not
ですね。
accessing
すごく
information.
画
So
期
this
的
is a
で技
negative
術的には素
aspect
晴ら
of
しいけれども、
ICO.
それを悪用する
So
人たちが非常に多かったっていうのが
technology
ICO の難点だっ
is
たと
very
いうとこ
new.
ろから
However, there
2012
are
年、
many
15
people
年、
who
16 年
used
ぐ
it
らい
in
の
a
話
negative
です。
way.
で、
That's
当時、まあ、日本
around
ではル
from
ールがなかったんですけれども、
2012 to
まあ
maybe
徐々に
16.
JBCA だったりとか、
And
そうい
we
った
didn't have a
規制団体ができ
rule
たこ
at
とに
that
よって、
time.
より
However,
日本はより早く
regulations
ルール
started to
バンド
be
ブロックスチェーンができたの
organized,
で、ルールが統制されてきたと。
and then
一
rules
方でさ、
started to be
海外って見
organized.
たときに、
And when we look at the
スイス
situations
で、
in
まあ、いわゆる
overseas,
僕
in
ら、
Switzerland,
ICO のネガティブ部分ですね。いわゆ
like
る
negative
犯
aspects
罪
of
のお金だ
ICO,
ったりとか、いわゆ
like
るポケッ
crime
トマネー
money
にされたり
or
とかっていうことが、ま
it
あ、全
can
然、
become
投資家保護
somebody's
がされてなかっ
individual
たりっていうところがあったの
money.
で、
There was no
スイスで、
protection
まあ、
for
イーサリアムの、
stockholders. So in Switzerland,
設立団体だったりとかと一
like
緒に、
Ethereum
また組んで、
organizations, like
で、ト
we
ークン
had
ジェ
a
ネレーションイ
partnership
ベン
and
ト、いわゆる
token generation
TGE っていう
event,
規制を、
TGE.
新しいルー
This
ルを設けよ
regulation,
うと、それをグ
like
ロー
we
バルスタ
started to
ンダードにしよ
establish
うと
this
言っ
rule
て、スイ
and
スは
we
通貨
tried
に、
to make it as a global
まあ、いわゆる
standard.
シリコンバレーのクリプトカレンシーバみたいな、ク
Silicon
リプトバレー
Valley,
っていうものを設立
like
して、まあ、
we
それの
wanted,
創業チーム
we
には
set
僕
up
らも参
the
加させてい
area
ただいてたんです
similar
けど、
to
そう
the
いったこ
ones
の
in
因
the
縁もあっ
Silicon
て、
Valley.
もともとスイス
So
で
that is the
新設を、
background, and
スイスで設
we
立をしてたというところです。まあ、ちょっとコロナが
set up the
あ
office in
ってですね、
Switzerland.
スイスに行け
Because
なく
of the
なったの
COVID
で、ほとんどスイスは、
situation,
まあ、
we
今は
couldn't
稼働して
visit
ないんですけれども、
Switzerland, so we don't really
で、
have
当時
operation there
いわ
now.
ゆるレギュレーションをよりグローバルスタンダード
So
を
we
掲げ
wanted
るために
to
どうやっ
have
て、
a
まあ、法的な
global
制限だったりとか、
standardized
技術面だっ
regulation,
たり
like
とか、
technology
まあ、
regulations,
金融面だったりっていうところを重視
financial
しながら、よ
aspect,
り
like
い
focusing
い、
them. And also,
まあ、規制というか、ICO の、まあ、ハイ
we
まあ、ハイ
wanted
グレー
to
ド版みたいな
have
ものをちょっと作ろうとして
better
て、まあ、スイス
regulation.
に行った
So
ん
that's
で、
why we
まあ、TGE ができ
visited
ましたと。
Switzerland, and we had a TG. And we wanted to import it to Japan, import it back to Japan. However, we didn't have opportunity to have a conversation with regulators at that time. That's why we focused on Singapore. Around 2017-18, there was no rules around that time. That's why we pick up Singapore to set up more rules. So that was our challenge to pick on. Like I mentioned in the presentation, digital asset associations, Global Fintech Institute. It was called the Singapore Fintech Association. So Hokulai, the head of the organization, we started to work with them. So that is the background.
ありがとうございます。なんかちょっとそこで2点質問なんですけ
I
れど
have
も、
two questions.
先ほどね、原さんの方は、ギフトパッドさんは、創業者が
For Giftpad, Hara-san,
海外に、住まれてるのが海外に興味あったところあるんですけど、なんか手塚
the
さんは
founder was interested in overseas. But Tezuka-san, what about you? Were you interested in overseas? No, no. No, I still cannot speak
に
English.
もかかわらず、なんかここまで
Okay, but you have such a global mindset. Interesting. Why you have such a global mindset? Well, when I was working in Osaka, like Sheldon Hoskinson or for Ethereum Vitalik, like I had opportunities to talk with overseas people, and time lag was annoying. There is such a big time lag, and we needed to have a midnight meeting.
よりグローバルな視点で思ったときに、日本からやろうとしたときに、まず規制団体がちょっと、
And then considering that situation,
皆さん本当に賢い方々がいらっしゃるので、ちょっと僕ら
there
みた
are
いな
many smart people in
暴れようと思って
regulators,
もちょっと
regulators.
縛られるだろうなってい
And
う
then
視点が一個。
first, we felt that if startup trying to do something, maybe regulators don't really like it. And that's the one thing. And another thing is in Singapore at that time, there was an atmosphere that, okay, we can try and error a lot. If this kind of atmosphere is there, we felt it's easy to do what we wanted to do. Even though I couldn't speak in English, we decided to move to Singapore in 2018.
その時に先ほどもね、原さんがおっしゃってました。やっぱりこう、
But like Hara-san mentioned earlier, when going to overseas,
ここもさっきと、人っていうところは
like
大事だと思うん
people
ですけ
is
ど、
important.
ね、ご自身で英語できませんと。
Tezuka-san, you said that you cannot speak English. I think you can speak English. You are humble. No, I can't speak English. So how did you attract people to go overseas together? I think there are a lot of challenges. And how did you tackle on those challenges? In terms of fintech area, person already established a position, the person called Hokulai, he's a partner and he's part of our team. So we got him. So that's one of the big things for us. Regarding language, in order to have better communication, I had two people went to Singapore together with me from Japan, two people who can speak English. And through those activities, like Japanese people living in Singapore, they started to provide support for us. They started to be interested in our business. Maybe now 15 people we hired in Singapore. I think about it's difficult for us to hire Japanese people, so we hire Indian people, but I think we have 5 Japanese people and 15 Singaporean people are in our team. So we are receiving a lot of support. We are learning from various people. So yeah, that's I think my answer.
その中で、一番大変、海外展開っていう中で、
In terms of business expansion in overseas,
まず手塚
what
さんは
was the most challenging thing? Hara-san, what was the most challenging thing for
なんでしょう
you?
ね。まあ、その他、法
Maybe
定設
first,
立する
Tezuka
関
san?
係とかの作業とかっていうの
Well,
も、
administrative work, of course, and monetize was the biggest challenge for
規
us.
制をじゃあルールとして決めようっていうところに対しての、なんでしょうね。認可を、
When regulations are set,
教育だったりっていう部分でも MS、シンガポールの
MS for education,
とこ
like
ろまでは行きましたけれども、
we got the approval from the authority. However, monetize was very challenging for us.
得たその資金を、まあ、そのある種ロビー活動だったりとかに使いながらのところなので、
We were using our funds for the lobbying activities, therefore creating cash point.
もうちょっと掘り下げると、いわゆる
To be
文化
more
の違いだったり
specific, cultural
人の
differences,
違いだったり、いわゆる
differences of the
手
mindsets.
前のお金を手前のお金っていうとちょっと分かりにくいですね。
How should I say?
まあ文化の違いだったり
Well,
とか、
cultural
あとはもう仕事
differences
に対するスタンスが全く違った
or
っていう
mindset
ところ
for
は、
work.
日本人ってやっぱりどっち
So
どっちかという
those
と
differences are
どちらかという
big
と愚直
for
に
us
真面
too.
目にっていうところの
Japanese people are
人たち
very
が多かっ
kind
たと思う
of
んですけれども、
dedicated
シンガポ
for
ールは
work. However,
間
in
近になってスパッ
Singapore,
と終わる
like
というのが
when the
当たり
time
前では
comes,
あるん
they
ですけど、
just
まあ僕
finish
らはそれ
work.
に慣れましたけど、
Well,
そ
maybe
の
it's
働き
just
方一つに関してもちょっと
more common
なん
in
だか仕事
Japan,
に
but
対しての
like the
流れ
working
が
style
一定
was
期間
different, and
結
we
構スト
needed
レス
some
が
time
多かったですね。
to cope with
なる
it.
ほど。あ、
It
な
was
る
a
ほど。
little bit stressful.
原さんはいかがですか？
What about you,
先
Hara-san?
ほどの事例での中で一番苦労大変
What
だったこ
was
と。
the most
そうです
challenging
ね。
thing for
最
you?
初に申し上げたタイでやり始めた時
So
は
when we
ま
started
だ
our business in Thailand,
そうですね。現地に行ってまあ旅行気分で行ってみても何もやっぱり進まないことが何回かあっ
went
て、
to Thailand,
現地
but
の
if
ま
we
あタイの現地の法
visited
人の方と
as
は
a
お互いそ
sightseeing,
の
nothing really
関
happened.
係は
So
して
we
きてたん
tried
です
to
け
have
ど、なかなかやっぱり
alliance
こ
with
う時間
local
軸が違う
companies.
というか、進
However,
まなかったっていうの
it
がありま
wasn't
したので、
easy.
まあそこはじっくりというところで苦労
So
して
we
る
need
というところ
to,
になり
we
ます。
needed to
で、
spend some
グアム
time
に
and it
関
was
してはです
challenging.
ね、やはりグアムの現地に行ってシステムを
For
丁寧
Guam,
に説明するっていうところがかなり苦労し
we
たところ
went to
でして、
Guam and really struggled in explaining how the system
なん
should
ていう
be
かサ
developed.
ービスの画面の説明なんか日本
For
でやると
example,
きは
when we
デモ
explain
まで
about the
作ったりと
screen,
か実際に
we
触って
create
も
a
らって説
demo,
明するっていうところまでは
and
しなくても
so
導
we
入して
don't
もらえ
need
るんです
to
けれども、
create
や
a
はり
demo,
こう
a
外国
mock-up.
っていうかこう文化も
However,
違いますし、
for
買い
overseas,
物
the
の
culture is
サービ
different
ス
and the
の
way
アプ
they
リを
purchase
使う
things are
っていう
also
ところで
different.
まあ一般的ではない部分があったりと
And
か、
in
あと
some
QR コー
cases,
ドを読み込む
downloading
っ
an
ていうの
app
も
is
現地ではあ
not
まり一般的で
one
は
of
ないこと
their
であったりしますので、
customs, and
そこ
also
はなん
reading
か
the
本当に
QR code
行ってですね、
wasn't
図
also
面がな
common
いので、
either. So the
デ
members
モ
had
画
to
面
actually
で実
visit
際
the
に図面
site
を持って
and
行って見せなが
actually
ら
bring the
非常
device
に
and
こ
show
う
the
丁寧に
screen.
説明をして回ったっていうところが非常に
Our
苦労した
members
部分
had
か
to
なと思いま
explain
す。
one by one
あー
diligently about what needs to be developed. So
これ
that's
を
what
こう乗り越
was
え
one
る
of
に
our
は
struggles.
何が一番聞きました？もう本当にこ
What
の
helped
営
you
業補助
overcome
金
that
っていうところ
struggle?
が効くのか、なんかそこ
Was it
は
less,
プログでき
was
る
it
ことがあっ
about
たのか。
being diligent or any
そ
other
うですね。やっ
tips
ぱり
that you would
や
like
っ
to
ぱ
share?
りこうさっと説明するんじゃなくて、本当
So it's
その
not
も
just
のを見
about
せて
quickly
システ
explaining,
ムそ
but
のもの
showing
を
the
見せ
actual
て
system
細かく説明していっ
and
たところが
explaining
苦労した
each and
点
every
ですね。
detail. I think that was one
日
of the
本だ
struggles for
と
them. If it
あ
was
ん
a
まりこうさらっと
Japanese,
流しても
even though we
なんと
just
なく
briefly explained the overview,
が
it will sort of go
なんか
well
みんなが知ってる常識みたいなのがあ
because
る
we
んで
can
すけ
all
ど、
follow
た
our
だその
common standards or
同
knowledge.
じ言葉を使っていても、同
And
じ意
even
味で
though
使っていて
we
も、やっぱりその外国だ
use
と
the same word,
通じない思ってるもの
and
が
even though we
通じない
thought
っていう
it
のはよくあ
has
る
the
んです
same
けれど
meaning,
も、
sometimes there was some
そこを
misunderstanding
本
about
当に
how
丁
the
寧に
certain
もの
words
を見
are
せ
being
て
used.
動かして
So it was
現地
really
の人
important
と
to
再
actually
度説
show
明
the
して
demo
理
and
解してい
explain
ただ
one
い
by
て、
one and have them
まあ
understand
問題
what
な
needs
く
to be done.
サービス導入していただいたっていう
And
のが
by
あり
doing
ま
so,
す。
we were
まあ
able
それ
to
ひょっとしたらこれは
have
日
the
本でも
system
そういうことかもし
introduced.
れないですけれど
That
も、
also may
そう
be
す
the
るとやっ
case
ぱり
for
その丁
Japan
寧
as
さって
well,
いうのはやっ
but
ぱりこう海外に進出するときに
having
は
good
その
communication is very important when rolling out your business overseas.
なるほど。ありがとうございます。
I see. Thank you so
あ
much.
と、
We have around 20 minutes left, and there are 2 or 3 more questions that I would like to ask. I would like to ask 2 of you about your future development plans. What are the areas that you would like to focus on? You may have touched on this during the presentation, but once again, I would like to ask you the areas that you would like to focus on moving forward. So maybe we can start with Hara-san.
先ほど一番説明したリージョンペイっていうアプリが、
So the Region Pay app that I explained earlier,
かなりもう1100万以上のダウンロードなので、
there has been more than 11 million downloads
やっぱ
already.
りそのたくさんの方がこうスマホの中にあるっていうのは
So
すごいことなんだ
now
な
many
と思うんです
users
けど、
have this app on their smartphone, and I think that's
この先は
wonderful.
ですね、海外の人が
So
日本
moving
に来るタイミ
forward,
ングでリージョンペイのアプリ
when
をダウンロードして、それで日
foreigners
本で
come, non-Japanese come to Japan, I would like them to download the app and use Region Pay a lot.
まあインバウンドを狙いって言ってしまえばそうなんでしょうけど、日本に来
So
たら
it means that we would like to focus on inbound. So I would like everybody to know that once they come to Japan, they should be using Region Pay. That's one of the things we would like to achieve. And another thing is about Guam. We would like to have Guam Pay, which will be a service that will be used by the local community in Guam. And that can also be rolled out horizontally. We're also trying to do something similar in South Korea and have like a something city pay. We would like this service to be used to revitalize their local community and have Region Pay serve as one of the stimulators.
ありがとうございます。ちょっと今のところで、
Thank you very much.
質問
So I have a couple questions about what you have just mentioned. So you mentioned that you want to focus on inbound. And I believe that the inbound market will become bigger and bigger. So yes, I do understand that approach, but at the same time, I think it's really, really hard. When the non-Japanese come to Japan, they have to download this app. How will you be able to overcome that barrier?
なので我々だけとか弊社だけではなか
So
なかそういうの
yes,
って
I
難し
don't
いんじゃ
think
ない
we
かな
can
と
do that
思って
alone.
ますので、まあ、例えば空港関
So
連
for
の会社さん
example,
ですとか、
maybe
まあ
we
今
can collaborate
アメリカ
with
に会員
some
持つ
airport
お客様
companies.
ちょっと
And
お
there's
呼びしづ
also
れないんですけれども、
companies
そう
that
いうと
have
ころ
business
とア
around
ライ
the
アンスを
world.
組んでです
If we
ね、
can have some kind of alliance
そう
with
いう
such companies,
囲い込んで外国のお客様、会員持ってらっしゃ
and
るところ
for
ですとか、
companies who
まあ
have
空港ですとか、まあ、そういったと
customers
ころと一緒にやってい
outside
くこと
Japan, if we can
ベストですね。
collaborate
弊社
with
だ
those
けっていう
companies,
の
I
はまた
think it will
難しいんじ
help
ゃない
us overcome that barrier. So as mentioned earlier, we cannot do it alone. So I see. I'm not quite sure how many players there are in this area, but in other countries, I think there are companies similar to Giftpad. But what do you think? Yes, I also do think that there are similar companies outside Japan.
そうですね。なので、やはりそこの現地の方
So
と、まずはなんかその現地
first
に
of all,
詳しい方と
we
アライ
need
アンスを
to
組むっていうことが必要じゃない
have
か
an
なと
alliance with
思い
somebody
ます。
that is familiar with the local community.
そうですね。いや、面白いですよね。やっぱりこう、アウトイン、イン
Then,
アウト
yes,
両方
that
で
sounds very
や
interesting.
っていうっていいと思い
So
ます。
being able to run your business inside Japan and outside Japan is very interesting.
インバウンドで入って
And
いく
there's
中で
more and more
そ
visitors
のどういう
coming
もの
to
になるか
Japan.
すごい
And if you're able to capture that market, I think it will help further activate the market and
手塚
the
さんどうですか
local community. Thank you so much. So next, Tezuka-san, what about you? As CTIA, what are the areas that you would like to focus on? Hey, thank you for the question. Microfinance and micro collaboration. I mentioned this during the pitch as well.
愚直にちょっとやっていきたいと思ってはいまして、
This
その
is
ため
the
には
area that we would like to focus on, and to
我々
do
の技
so,
術っていうところで言うと、スマートコントラクトを活用した
we can use our smart contract
レ
technology.
ンディングファイナンス、マイクロファイナンスっていうのが必要になってくるかなとは思ってい
This
ま
is
す。
the technology that will be used for micro
例えば
lending and
セカ
microfinance,
セット資産っていうものをどうデジタル化
and
するか
also
と
how to
それが担保
digitalize
決定できる
their
そのため
asset
の
and
ユーザ
how
ー
they
一
will
人
be
一
able
人
to
の
secure those
DID
assets,
デジタル ID をどう利
and
用して
how
そ
to
こに対し
grant
てどうや
digital
って信用を担
IDs,
保していくか
and how
保
we
証してい
can
くか
also
っていうところの
ensure trust
実証
and
実践だっ
credit.
たりっていうところをやって
Doing those
取り組んでい
POCs
る感じです。
will be our
なので
focus area
そ
moving
れが
forward.
実現した
And if that is successful, then
まあ、お金を、まあ、金融機関だったりとか、そうい
so
った、
usually
機関からお金を借りようとしたときに、どうしてもそ
when
の
people
10%
try
っていうと
to
ころじゃないと
borrow money from financial
20%
institutions,
そこを払
they
わな
will
いと
be
お金が借り
asked
れ
to
ない
pay an
という
interest rate of
人が、
10% or
まあ、いま
20%.
すし、
There are people
ま
like
あ、例え
that.
ばこと日本においては、じゃあ今の利息
And when we look at
どうしてるのか
Japan,
っていうと、やっぱりまた0.00とかっていう
the
話に
interest
なってくる。
rate
まあ、こうい
is
った
still
その双
0.0
方
something.
信用が、まあ、取れる状態で、まあ、誰かは分からないものの、
So
まあ、
even
例え
though
ば
we
日
do
本
not
人が、
know
まあ、
who
そ
that
れだけ
person
の
is,
南米の方だっ
but
た
for
りとか、
example,
ア
if
フリ
they are
カ大
from
陸の
South
方に対して、まあ、10万
America
円を
or
利息
America
は 5% っ
and
ていう形になると、
want
日本
to
からする
lend
と、もう
out
本当に高金利でお金が回るし、
100,000
まあ、アフリカ
and
だ
the
ったり
interest
南
rate
米の
is
方々からする
5%,
と、非常に、まあ、低金利でお金を貸してくれる。
from
こういうところ
our
に
point
対
of
して、
view,
まあ、
it will be a
嘘
high
偽
interest
り
rate, and from
例え
them,
ば、
it will be a
まあ、
low
今申
interest
請している
rate.
家賃とか、払え
And
なかったらすみません
same
けど、
for
明日払って
rent,
くださいと。
if they
という
cannot
こ
pay
と
the
が、まあ、
rent,
現実的に可能というか、まあ、
by having
よ
this
くある話
microfinance, we can ask the
ですけど、
owner
そ
to
の
wait
ブラック
one
の場合
day.
だと、それに嘘偽りができないというか、
And
まあ、
but
こ
if
うい
we
うトラン
have
ザクション
the
が生成され
smart
なかったら、そ
contract,
の時点
we
で
will
フォルダ
not
ステー
be
ト取られ
able
る。
to
そういったところの、
not
まあ、賠
perform
償
that
責任っていうところ
obligation.
を、ちょっとまあ、実現、社会実装で
So
き
I
るよう
hope
な
that we will be
雰囲
able
気
to
の
do a
申請
POC around
こう
this
いった
and
ところに対して
eventually
の注意
implement
っていうのは
into
非
the
常に
society.
やって
So
いきた
that
い
is the area that we would like to continue to focus on.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much. We have a little more than 10 minutes left, and it seems like we are receiving a lot of questions. So maybe we can work on handling these questions. The first question is, I think this is a question to both of you. So when globally expanding, how shall the market research start? How do you start doing your market research when you think about expanding globally? I would like to first ask Tezuka-san, how do you conduct your market
まあ
research?
一番最初の僕らの入りっていうのはクリプ
So
トカレン
the,
シーっていうところ
we
で、
started
まあ
out with
ほとんどが認知されてない
cryptocurrency,
状態。まだ
and
入
at
って
that
これ、ま
time
あ
it wasn't well
2018
known
年
at
頃といっ
all.
ても、まあ10兆
It
円前後
was
というところだったので、あるようなないようなっ
in
ていうところだったので、ま
around
あ正直
2018,
ど
and the
こから
market
入
size
りやす
was
い
around
か、
10
メインど
trillion.
こだったら
So
ブランド
we
として認知されるか、
tried
それ
to
か
do
そ
a
れが
research
メイドイン
about where
インデ
we
ィアがい
should
いの
start
か、
our
メイドイ
brand,
ン
whether it should be
UK がいい
made
のか、
in
まあいろい
India
ろ
or
と
made in
金融
UK.
面で見たときには
From a
UK、
finance point of view, we thought
ス
maybe
イス、
UK,
シンガ
Hong
ポール
Kong, or
だったりと
Switzerland
か、スイ
or
スとシンガポー
Singapore.
ルをちょっ
So
と
that's
取
the
り
reason why we selected
です。ま
Singapore
あ、そ
and
れは単
Switzerland.
純に時差の関
So
係で、
that
UK
was
まで行く
also
とちょっ
made
と遠いしな。
due to the
まあ
time
大阪
difference.
拠
If
点
it's
なの
UK,
で、
it's a little bit too far because
ま
we're
あ
located
フ
in
ードフライトの
Osaka.
都合だったりとか、
And
大阪まで
also
10時
due
間ぐらい
to
来れ
the
る
air
ので、
flight, in
時差も1
Singapore,
時
it's
間
only
っていう、
6
まあベス
hours,
トか
and
な
the
って
time
いうところ
difference
で、
is
まあ
1 hour.
シンガポー
So
ル
we
チョイ
thought
スし
that
ま
was
した。
the best and chose Singapore.
なので答えとしては市場調査っていうほどの市
So
場
the
ではなか
answer
った
will
という
be at
こ
that
とは
time, it wasn't really a market to do market research. On the other hand, looking back, do you think that the decision that you made was correct? Do you think that there were other options available?
そうですね。あるとしたらロン
So
ドンっていう
maybe
ところを
London, maybe we shouldn't have ignored the option London. When we look at the current market, for example, energy or carbon offset, Europe is the region that is engaged in these areas. So not having a footprint in London is maybe, yes, a regret. Thank you. Hara-san, what about you? As you globally expand, you mentioned Guam, Thailand, and South Korea. So I guess Guam, they approached you, but what do you think? So maybe it's not a direct answer to your question about market research, but regarding Thailand, there was somebody that was very familiar with Thailand, so that's how it all started. But regarding the research related to what kind of country Thailand is and what is happening, of course, we will also do our research on our end, but actually, we reached out to financial institutions which we have a transaction, and we asked for help from financial institutions who have a subsidiary or a branch in Thailand. We asked them to share some data and ask them what is happening and how the laws and regulations are set up. So we did ask for help from financial institutions, and they helped us a lot. If it is a major bank in Japan, or even if it's a regional bank, they do have branches outside Japan. And sometimes they also do have subsidiaries. So we reached out to all those financial institutions, and even when we visited Thailand, we asked that financial institution to attend us. So we did receive a lot of support and help from financial institutions. So I never thought of using financial institutions in that way. So let's take a look at another question. This is about recruitment. So was it easy for you to hire the right talent in Osaka? So is it easy to hire such talent in Osaka? Maybe we can start with Hara-san. So actually, it was easier to hire the right person in Osaka. So actually, when we opened our Tokyo office, we also tried to hire people in Tokyo. And as Tezuka-san has mentioned, there's this Tokyo price in terms of cost and salary. And there's also many job openings in Tokyo. Therefore, it's really hard for a venture company to hire people. However, for Osaka, it was easier to hire. So our headquarters is located in Minami Horie, but before that, we had an office in WeWork in Namba. And we would say, you'll be able to work at WeWork. And that's the way we try to recruit engineers. And until then, we really struggled in recruiting people in Tokyo, but as we branded ourselves as a company that can work at WeWork, we received a lot of CVs. And also, saying that we are a Osaka-based company and hiring people from Osaka, I think was really attractive to them. That's very interesting. Thank you. Tezuka-san, what about you? So at that time, there weren't that many people who were deeply knowledgeable in Fintech. Therefore, their attitude to learn, or they may be knowledgeable in technology but not finance, and vice versa. There are a lot of people like that at that time. So we tried to split between finance and technology. And through our research, we tried to integrate that, but nowadays, there are people who have 5 to 6 years of experience in the fintech area, but at the same time, the cost will be higher. For those deeply engaged in fintech, that area we could cover on our end, but rather, maybe we are weak in a certain area in finance, or we want somebody who can do technological verification work in a certain area. So we try to be a little bit selective in the area which we are wanting to hire. But it's really hard to hire somebody that's strong in both finance and technology. So even though they are strong in technology, they may not be strong in the operational side. So at that time, it was very hard. Now it's easier to find people like that, but the cost is higher. If we can accept the cost, then maybe yes. Yes, it's really hard to find somebody who meets all the criteria. So I think it's all about whether they want to learn. If they want to learn, they will grow. So if they are willing to learn, they will grow. So I think it's all about trying to find that kind of person. And maybe we can take one more question. I think this question is for Tezuka-san or maybe Hara-san as well. For Japan to be a fintech-based nation like Singapore, what shall we do? What are your expectations towards the 30s? And for Hara-san, so that's the question for Tezuka-san. And for Hara-san, let's say, so today we're talking about Osaka. So what are your expectations or your asks to the local government? Maybe we can start with Tezuka-san. So I think a system like a sandbox is definitely necessary. And in the past, I think it was around 2019, we did apply for a sandbox system, but it was rejected. This was to do a try and error for a system called TGE. But at that time, it all started with, what is that? So the people who approve and permit that weren't able to have a conversation with us at the same playground. We talked about the same topic in Singapore as well, but in Singapore there were like 15 people attending the meeting. In Tokyo, there's only like about 2 people in charge, and then there's their managers. So the system or the structure itself was different. They will think about what is that? Is that new? And that cannot be done by just 2 people. In Singapore, they have about 15 people looking into it. And it was the time when there were not that many regulations. But when we look at the tax system, this is quite often said in Japan, but for crypto asset, if it was deregulated from the beginning, there probably were a lot of good startup companies that were established in Japan. And of course, in Singapore, the capital gain tax is 0, and the corporate tax is 17%, very low. And I think that's the reason why it attracts companies. And that's the same for Dubai as well. But I think the tax system has a strong impact. So if there can be some kind of economic zone in Japan, I think in Okinawa or other local governments have set up some special economic zones. But if you can set up an environment which accepts these new things, it will be much more accessible for new companies and ventures like us. And also an environment that's easy to raise fund. When we look at Singapore, not SVC, but VC, at an early stage, they tend to provide fund. And we also have the financial license type 2 as we run our business in Japan. So how they provide fund to the early stage companies, I think Singapore is more aggressive compared to Japan. I see. Thank you so much. And the government also has a startup 5-year plan. So I think that means that the Japan government also has some sort of sense of urgency as well. Hara-san, what about you? So my expectations towards the Osaka local government, if any. So let's say if the local government wants to issue this regional currency, it will be outside the laws and regulations. It will be outside our national laws and regulations. So I think it will be really fun and interesting, which means that we'll be able to come up with really exciting and fun initiatives. And we would like to work closely with you so that we'll be able to develop a system that meets your needs. So together with the local governments, we would like to come up with great ideas so that we'll be able to further enhance the usage of these regional currencies. So yes, I think the local government is also trying to think about how they will be able to activate their local community and business. So it seems like we have a little bit more time. So maybe Tezuka-san, this is a question directed to you. It seems like the trend for metaverse has already ended, but is there going to be once again a trend for metaverse? So as working at the front end, what are your thoughts? So in overseas, that's not the case, but in Japan, when we say metaverse, people consider it the same as VR. For example, wearing these kind of devices or goggles. So for virtual reality, XR, metaverse, the definition is different between all these concepts. So when we look at the VR technology, with the advancement with the devices and technology, of course, metaverse does also require devices to have that immersive experience. But the metaverse that we are advocating is a little bit different from VR and XR. So from our point of view, we believe that it hasn't even started yet. So sorry, this may not sound logical. But for these new initiatives, we would like to provide a new user experience from an educational point of view and healthcare point of view. We would like to make metaphors much more closer to the actual society and do POC so that we'll be able to launch new services. So that's our vision for the future metaverse. And I think that hasn't come yet. It's going to come in the future. Thank you so much. So yes, it's still coming. So what about the timeline? What is the timeline that you have in mind? So I think the audience today are quite familiar in this area. So how long will it take for the mass adoption? So we are thinking 2025. Well, that's next year. Yes, that's right. So I think 2025 will be one of the turning points. So the system that we are developing will be released by the end of the year or early next year. So that's one reason behind that. But for example, Disney and Epic also made a release the other way, and those initiatives are starting to be realized and launched. And I think that will help us enter the phase to create more excitement. So it's not just about games, but more about being part of our lifestyle. So that's what we are trying to do. And I think that will start next year. Okay, my next question is about which category will first initiate this trend. So when we say lifestyle, I think it includes many aspects. So I think game will probably be the trigger point. It's true that game will probably be the starter. But as I have mentioned, microfinance and microlending, this and metaverse, I think, also has a really good affinity. And also the touch point among users also has a strong synergy. And by having this various experience on metaverse, you'll be able to understand what you are interested in and what are your feelings and emotions. And by visualizing that, we try to link that to real business. For example, as human beings live, the areas that we can actually work in may be limited. But even though I have experience in 20 professions, there's more and more jobs out there, but I will end my life without knowing those other job opportunities. But if you can understand your characteristics more and be able to truly demonstrate your capabilities, then we'll be able to, and if we can provide that through the metaverse, we'll be able to eliminate opportunity losses. And a lot of companies spend a lot of money in developing talent and also trying to hire good talent. But through this, they'll be able to hire people that will be a better fit to that job and company. So that's also another idea that we have in mind and would like to work on. That sounds very interesting. I think this is going to be our last question. For fintech companies to collaborate with the Japan major banks. So compared to the Tokyo mega banks, do you feel that it's easier to collaborate with the banks in Osaka? So I think you have expanded your business globally and also probably rolling out your business nationwide as well. But what is your impression when trying to collaborate with other financial institutions or companies? Do you find it easier to collaborate with companies in Osaka? Maybe Hara-san, you can start. So yes, the banks that we collaborate with, it's basically the local banks in Osaka. It's the regional banks in Osaka. We hardly have business with financial institutions on the east side. I think it's because of maybe the cultural differences. So I think the passion of the person in charge on the bank side seems to be stronger if they are located in Osaka. So I think that will also impact the way the partnership further develops. Yes. So starting from the first meeting, the financial institutions from Osaka are very, very excited and passionate. But for the financial institution in Tokyo, based on my experience, that doesn't really seem to be the case. So thank you very much for that interesting observation. Tezuka-san, what do you think regarding the partnership with companies in Osaka? Is it easier to collaborate with companies in Osaka? So yes, the answer will be absolutely yes. It's easier to talk with companies and financial institutions from Osaka because we belong to the same local community. So sometimes there is a middleman, and of course they may differ on the trust level of that middleman, but the people that referred us to that company. But in Singapore, there's this company called Yogibo, and we help them expand in Singapore. And in Singapore, they have already been listed, and we have already withdrawn from that support. But we worked on the localization together, and we also provide that kind of service. And Yogibo is also a company that was based in Osaka. So we tend to share the same taste or the atmosphere. We do have opportunities to talk with many companies and financial institutions, but yes, I think it's easier to talk with those that are based in Osaka.
その流れで最後の締めみたいなところなんですけれども、今日ね、
Okay, thank you so much. About 100 people joining this seminar.
そういう中で、ぜひそういった聴衆へのメッセージですね。
Do you have any final message to them? Because today's participants are interested in maybe starting businesses in Osaka or interested in fintech or wants to make investment to those companies. So do you have any messages to them? Hara-san?
そうですね。 大阪かける弊社っていうところで、いろんなことをやっていきたいと思います。それから
We want to do a lot of things in conjunction with Osaka.
今日私がプレゼンさせていただいた
I
中で
provided the presentation earlier, so if you find anything you're interested in,
ちょっとしたことでも全然結構
just a small thing is fine.
お問い合わせどんどん
If you have anything, please do not hesitate to contact me. Thank
あり
you.
がとうございます。手塚さん、お願いします。
Tezuka-san?
はい。そうですね。今日いろいろお話しさせていただきましたけれども、
Yes,
大阪は
we
す
had a
ご
lot of
くその
conversation.
人、物、
People,
食事含め
things,
て非常に
food
日本
in Osaka.
広い中でですけれども、かなりパフォーマンスがいい地域かなというふう
We
に
have
も僕
such
自
a
身も
great
感じてい
performance
ます
in
し、
terms of
必ず
those
その
things in
月に
Japan.
日本に帰る際には大阪を経由して
Every time I
ぜひ
come back
大阪のご
to
飯がないとちょっと大阪の食卓に
Japan
合わない
once a
ので、
month, I
僕自
need
身もちょっと
to
不安ですけれ
eat
ども、
something in Osaka. I need to communicate
後
with
ろに
people in
僕らも
Osaka.
今後ブロックチェーンを実証実験しながら、
We
その
are
検
doing
証結果を用いながら、
demonstrative
いわゆるそのよ
experiment,
り拡張しやすいトークン設計だったりとか、よりその
and
ブロッ
we
ク
are
チェーンの
trying to
活用性の有無からで
design
すね、どれが相
tokens.
性いいのかっていうところを引き続きやっていくので、そうい
So
った検
that's
証だ
what
っ
we
た
are
りとか、
doing. So
ど
this
う社会
kind
に結び
of
つけるべきなのかっていうところに関してある程度答えは
analysis
明
and
確
how
な
we can
僕もそう
apply
です
it to the
10年以上やってま
society.
すから、
We are doing it more than
そうい
10
った答えを持っているの
years,
で、
so we do
今後こ
have
ういった
these answers.
なんでしょう、取り組みたいっていう方々が
So
も
if
しい
you
らっ
are
しゃれば、
interested in
ぜ
this
ひお
area,
問い合わせいただければと
please do not
はい
hesitate to
思います。
contact
ありがとう
us.
ございます。
Thank you.
はい、原さん、手塚さん、どうもありがとう
Hara-san,
ございました。
Tezuka-san, thank you very
こちらに
much.
て、じゃあ事務局の運営の白川さんに戻し
This
たい
is
と
the
思いま
end
す。
of the
白川さん、お願いいたします。
panel
Thank you
discussion.
very much, Mr. Kishi, Mr. Tezuka, and Ms. Hara for precious your panel discussion. So sorry for exceeding the time limit, but since we had many questions and very precious comments, we wanted to just extend it a bit for this session. So thank you very much once again for your kindest contribution. And now we are closing the second part of this webinar, which is the panel discussion. So we would like you to kindly answer the survey when you exit this event. So you can either click the URL, the web link provided in the chat box, or the browser would be automatically pop up when you leave the event. Also, upon answering the survey, you can apply for the individual meetings with the pitching two companies today. So please kindly specify upon answering this survey if you would like to have an individual meetings later on. Also, please allow us to move one more slide and then have a description on the individual business meetings. So once again, for the third part of this event, we are having the networking and the business matching session for the pre-booked participants. So please kindly move on to the link provided by the Secretariat if you are already applied and accepted the individual meetings. If you have any trouble on joining, moving on to this third part of this event, please kindly note the Secretariat for any support. All right, so once again, thank you very much indeed for kindly joining for today's session. Again, please kindly cooperate with